I'm a little intimidated after that. Thanks for the kind intro. Appreciate that. So, wow, what a great turnout, huh? Little Rock. Little Rock, yeah. Awesome. So for those of you just joining us tonight, this is how it's going to go down. The people in this room came together on Friday night. We had a pretty diverse group of developers, designers, business people, marketers. We had students. How many students in the room? Nice representation of students here. So we had a very diverse group, skill sets, experiences. They pitched ideas. We had 27 pitches, right? And we whittled it down through some quirky voting process to the top 10. So you're going to see 10 teams present tonight. The format is 4 minutes of presentation, followed by 3 to 4 minutes of Q&A from our judges, who will be introduced here in a minute. During the Q&A of the first team, I'd like the second team to come up and get their stuff set up. So we're going to be rolling quickly. I'm going to be pretty strict on timing. I'm going to sit right up here, and I'm going to put my fist in the air at the 3-minute mark. Okay, teams? That means you have 1 minute. Got it? And at the 4-minute mark, I'm going to cut you off. I'm just going to start clapping. I'm going to thank you, and I'm going to kick it over to the judges for Q&A. Okay? So we're going to go fast. I want to get this thing done by 7:30, rather than the 9 p.m. stuff that was on the website. So it'll be efficient. It'll be entertaining, hopefully. Cool? So one thing I want to say real quick, that while the challenge presented to the teams this weekend was to build something and launch it by today, and some teams, by the way, will have something functional and they're going to show it to you and it's going to be awesome, and some teams didn't get it done, and that's fine. They'll have mock-ups, whatever. While the challenge presented to them was to build something, the real value in this type of an event is the experiential education. It's the experience. People learned a lot about themselves. Who learned something about yourself this weekend? Who learned a new specific skill, maybe a new programming language, or maybe you were a marketing guy, you learned how to design or something this weekend? All right, and who met somebody that you are for sure going to stay in touch with after this event? I know I did. All right, good. So this event is all about the ripples that it's going to create through the Little Rock community. That's what I'm excited about. Most of you guys, statistically speaking, are not going to work on this. You guys are probably going to fail. More than half of you aren't even going to continue tomorrow. You're not even going to set a time and meet up with your team, which would suck. I encourage you tonight, before you leave, to pick a time and a date to reconvene with your team members. Do that. That's going to increase your chances of success and increase the likelihood that you're actually going to go do something. But statistically speaking, most of you will fail. Maybe 1 or 2 companies will do something cool. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a couple of cool stories of some of you getting some investment, quitting your jobs, moving forward. That'd be awesome. But the real success is really hard to measure, and that's you guys starting new companies months from now with people you met here, or just getting inspired to pursue entrepreneurship instead of something else. So that's what it's all about. And these guys recognize that. I wanted to just quickly give a special shout out to Jordan and Max. These guys made it happen. All right, real quick, let me go over the order. So Hairnet, you're first. Where are you at? Can you go ahead and set up? Get your stuff ready. Followed by Sports Mob, Vidlibs, Impulsive, Tin Box, Simple. Max, you got some bad handwriting, man. Sample Service, Branches, Pursuit, Fundraise the Roof, and Brandvu. Did I miss anybody? Okay, so that's the order. Got it? And the order, I think, is also on the blog. All right, Hairnet, Sports Mob, Vidlibs, Impulsive, Tin Box, Simple Service, Branches, Pursuit, Fundraise the Roof, Brandvu. Backwards, Brandvu. Oh, no, that's all I got. Okay? All right. Jordan, you want to welcome the judges, say some stuff, and then we'll get started?
Absolutely. Before I start talking, I would like to introduce all of our awesome judges. These guys have a very diverse background in the entrepreneurial space and business, and are very well respected throughout the state. And also art and design. I forgot to mention that. So I'm going to let them just say a few words about themselves, if you don't mind standing up and just saying who you are and what you're a part of.
Sure. I'm Jeff Stinson. I manage an angel fund in the state of Arkansas. It's called Fund for Arkansas's Future, and we're actually on our second fund. We've been investing about 9 years in the state of Arkansas, and we've made 32 investments in 17 companies so far, and I'm glad to be here. So.
I'm Millie Ward. I'm president of Stone Ward. We're an advertising marketing agency. It's been around Little Rock for a while in Chicago. And what we do every day is help brands like these startup brands become more successful using marketing and communications. So I'm really looking forward to what I'm going to learn today from the judges as well as from the teams. Thank you very much.
Everybody ready for this? Is this going to be a big time? My name is Jeff Amrine. I'm with Innovate Arkansas, University of Arkansas, and Gravity Ventures. I've got a really short attention span, which is good. That's why we've got this 4-minute presentation cycle. I like 60 seconds better personally, but this is going to be great. I'm glad to be here. It should be a great event.
My name is Arlton Lowry. I'm a designer. I throw a conference every year called Made by Few, and I also do events like Bar Camp Conway, and I teach at UALR. That's it.
Hello, I'm Jeanette Baliesa. I'm the director of the ARC Challenge. We are a mentorship-driven tech accelerator program that is based out of Northwest Arkansas. And our application deadline is extended just because of Little Rock Startup Weekend. It was supposed to be, the deadline was tonight, but we're extending it to the 14th. So you teams, if you're interested in getting $20,000 in seed investment, mentorship from really, really incredible individuals, and 3 months of Startup Weekend, please apply at arcchallenge.org.
Thank you all for being here. Before we kind of go further, I'd like to thank the community in itself and people like all these people right here. And then also judges, if you're still here, will you stand up real quick? I mean, sorry, mentors and coaches, stand up real quick. Just real quick. Just give them a round of applause. Okay, so I have a really cool announcement on some Arkansas success. Thanks to people who are in the room and the community and the support. We have 3 startup companies that have had some major success the past week. So we have Collective Bias, Acumen Brands, and Field Agent all had multi-million-dollar deals in funding this past week. That is huge for the state of Arkansas. And so it's people like this and events like this that we got to keep it going, and you know, we're going to see a lot of cool things to come. So then I think also, yeah, so I want to give a quick shout out to some of our sponsors that were involved in, you know, the innovation catalyst process, you know, from the beginning, all the innovation that has happened in the state. We got Arkansas Business, we got Innovate Arkansas, Arkansas Capital Corp, and thank you, the Clinton School. These are some of our top sponsors, and thanks to them, we were able to subsidize our ticket costs, give them awesome food, and you know, hell of a weekend. So I'm going to kick it over to Max real quick.
Woo! 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 My goodness! Woo! Man, is it Sunday already?
Yeah.
Woo! Woo! Thank y'all for being here. I love the energy. Are y'all feeling good? Yeah. I do love to do this. Piff, you may remember this. If you're feeling good, let me hear you say, "Hell yeah!" Hell yeah! I love it. I love it. So, hey, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Thank you all for being here. You're going to love this. We're going to keep it going after the event, too. And, yeah, please enjoy. Starting off, we have Hairnet, so please give it up for him.
Okay, like a lot of great ideas, this idea was born out of frustration. Twice in 1 year, I called my hairstylist, who I know in front, to get her haircut. Found out she's no longer at the salon. Where she went, they wouldn't tell me. Like they set you up with somebody else. That's really not what I was interested in. It was frustration for me, but it was a business problem for the stylist. So I took a look at this. So what happens when the stylist
next team, Sports Mob, to set up your laptop.
One more question for you. This looks like an execution play. What's your one specific, most important unfair competitive advantage?
I think our competitive advantage is, a lot of that's my background, so I'm coming at this thing from a customer relationship point of view. I'm looking at solving that problem, making sure that the stylist can take care of our customer. Everything else out there, there are tools in place that let you, schedule an appointment. It really goes beyond that. Style Seat, for example, I scheduled an appointment with a stylist in Jacksonville, called her the day before, and just wanted to confirm her location. She said, I don't see you on my appointment book. Well, I signed up to the style sheet. What style sheet? She didn't even know that she had signed up for it, so she had a game. What we're going to do is first of all, we're going to facilitate that relationship. We're going to really good training, teach people how to use it. And in these events, what we tend to do is we invite stylists to come in and we say, bring your appointment book. So we're going to tell them about our business. We're going to serve wine and cheese and have a big party. Then we're going to have high school and college kids sitting here in the back. They're going to be manually transferring that appointment book from book to online. So it makes it a real easy transition to do that.
Did you talk to any stylists?
Yes. Talked to several stylists, talked to salon owners, the salon owners, and I'll be very, very honest with you. I mean, our research is basically people I knew. So we didn't go out and do a whole lot. People I knew. I haven't found one yet. Now, I know actually writing me a check versus saying you're going to is a whole different thing. But everybody that I talked to thought it was a great idea. Talked to stylists in Conway, talked to stylists in Wilmington. The owners haven't any problem either because they want to rent that space. So they want that stylist put in the seat every hour possible.
All right, that's all the time we got. Thank you. Up next, we got Sports Mob.
Sports Mob. Hi, my name's Aaron, and I'm here to announce an innovation for die-hard sports fans. It's called Sports Mob. It's a single platform where you can bring in multiple feeds for all your different teams in one place and have a discussion through a forum-based discussion. There's a lot of problems with current sports sites. One of them is that even though it's great that sports fans are die-hard, right? They went out as soon as the internet was invented and started putting up sites so they could talk trash about the Hogs. But the problem is that it's outdated. Another issue with sports sites is if I'm a fan of the Razorbacks, I can't necessarily go to just one place. So I have to go to a lot of different sites. You can see here just 3 for this. Another issue is that I'm not just a fan of the Razorbacks. I'm a fan of NBA teams, NFL teams, and you can see how all these different tabs, all these different windows are opened up, and it creates an issue with user engagement and keeping people on your site. There's a solution to this, and it's called Sports Mob. It's a single platform for curated news and interaction. We allow for deeper discussions, and all the different sites that would be associated with your specific sports team are in one place. And it's done in a responsive and modern interface. Again, when they put these sites up in 1996, they weren't planning on you being able to look at them on your phone. You can see that it's almost impossible to interact in a mobile version of this site. But Sports Mob was created in a responsive design. It's very easy. That's the future. Mobile is the future, right? So this is set up for the future. So who are our opponents or our competitors? You can see ESPN Dallas is a regional site that is for all of the Dallas-Fort Worth teams. The problem with that is I may be a fan of the Arkansas Razorbacks here, but I'm also a fan of the New England Patriots. I'm also a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals. So if you're giving me just regionally curated news, then you're only reaching me at one point. Another format is an aggregator. Sports Spider draws in a bunch of different feeds like we're proposing here, but they're not allowing for a discussion. There's no forum. It's just a feed. You get the headlines, and then you have to go somewhere else. And the last is the team forum that I showed you earlier. If I have just a team-specific website, I have to go to a bunch of different websites. And I have to go to a bunch of different websites for a bunch of different teams. So what's our revenue model? Basically, our goal, obviously, is to get as many eyeballs as possible. So we're having all the different aggregators, all the different feeds that we can get to get as many people to our site as possible. We're giving them all the different teams. The other piece of it is we're giving them engagement to keep them there. So we're having the most high value customer that you can find, one that is coming and staying on our website and is engaged, so they keep coming back. They want to be involved in the discussion. So obviously advertising is down the road, but initially our sports fanatic that's working with us is also the highest spending sports fan. Merchandising, ticket sales, and premium content, they're the most likely to provide. So how are we going to roll it out? That's the great thing about sports is, like I said, it's national. So even though I'm a fan here in Arkansas, I can always also be a fan of something in Boston, something in Dallas, and I'm able to create a viral aspect, bringing fans from all those different areas to one place. So it gives us an advantage and an opportunity that other types of businesses would not have, because it truly is a national and international viral-based business. So who's on our team? Alex, Zach, Aaron, Robert, and Will. Guys, you want to come up? The last piece of this is exactly what I said before. Basically, it's a curated site in a central location that brings all the different feeds talking about a bunch of different teams, so that the fan comes to us and is available and stays engaged. Thank you. Oh, that's right. He's going to run a little demo in the background. We actually have this set up.
So is there any legality issues with the content you're pulling in? Are you going to have to partner with these different content providers?
It depends. So there are some licensing agreements specific to larger sites, but again, that's a feed, just like a paid feed, anything else. They're providing it, and the goal is they would want to draw people, all the different eyes that we're having. So yes, there is a possibility of there being licenses from larger sites, but smaller blogs or smaller forums like you've seen, no, they would allow the feed.
VidLibs, please set up.
I think the difference is that we're not pulling in like their whole post. So basically we're linking to them. So I think the sites that, especially smaller sites, would actually be excited to be featured on our pages, because we're just pulling in a small summary. Then to read the full article, you have to jump over to their pages.
That's fine. I was just wondering about dealing with issues that might come up where, some content they didn't want posted is posted, even if it is a link.
Yeah, I think that's something we could address, especially if we get to know the content creators, but for now.
What did you guys learn about the demographics or the characteristics associated with your early adopters, the group that you're going to go after initially? What do you know about them? Who are they? What do they spend their money on? Where do they spend their time?
Okay, so we would be targeting sports fanatics. I mean, that's a literal thing, and people have identified it, okay? So they did a survey not too long ago, they did a survey not too long ago of sports fans, and 34% of them identified themselves as sports fanatics. Now, the fortunate thing for us, in that exact same survey, they also tracked their spending through their Amex, and their annual spending was $725 a year over sports-related, whether it's ticket sales or merchandise or whatever. So it's an extremely valuable demographic.
Is the discussion among the fans, is it public or is it just private for the users?
No, it's public.
Yeah, it's public based on the teams that you join. So if you're interested in, the St. Louis Cardinals, all of that discussion takes place in that St. Louis Cardinals topic or discussion forum.
Okay.
In order to access the information? In order to access it? All right.
Anything else?
All right. Thank you.
Quick tips and tricks for those who are presenting. Try not to stand here in front of the speaker. Sometimes it creates a feedback loop and it sounds nasty. Also, you have lots of space. You can walk around. You can get on the stage. You can do stuff, okay? Use it. Use it, or you don't have to.
I'm going to make a little tiny box and just walk around in this little box. Does my time start now? All right, I'm Jody, and I want to introduce you guys to VidLibs. VidLibs is a spontaneous video story generation app. First of its kind, nothing else like it. Now, when we think about, people and humans, we always respond to things that we're naturally wired to respond to things that are unexpected. It's a natural thing about people. And when we talk about VidLibs, every time you create a spontaneous video story with your friends, it's unexpected. It's like a snowflake. No matter what you do, you're never going to get the same video twice. It just does not happen. So we want to have a good app, and we want to strike the perfect balance between the familiar, and which is Mad Libs, but also the unexpected, which is the new VidLibs app. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to do a demo. We put this together. We got a great team, and pretty excited to be able to show you what we do have here. So we get people, and they download the app. They want to have some fun with it. It looks exciting. Got a great design. Click New Story. All right, we're going to create a new story. It gives us a list of Mad Libs, just like when you were a kid, except we're not replacing with words. We're replacing with videos. So we're going to pick a random story. And it says, in this random story, we've got 4 words, and we need video clips for each one of these words. So I'm going to select friends, because it's all about the social collaboration. So you're going to get a noun, and you're going to get a verb, Jeff. And we're going to go over and give them an adverb, and over here we got an adjective, and I'm going to click continue. Boom. Everybody on my network gets a mobile push app. They get a little push notification. It says, hey, I need a noun. So they look at their phone, and they go, oh, they need a noun. They hit the video button, and they say, porcupine. All right? And then you don't know what everyone else is going to say. Unexpected. Big surprise coming. So finally, everyone does their videos. Boom, I get a notification. The video's done. Everybody gets to watch it. And we're excited, so let's play it.
Next year, can we feed the
unicorn?
Love your fans.
All right, that's a little sample. We've got another one that'll have full audio, and it'll rock and roll. So at this point, we want to jump into kind of what is the most important thing when you're developing a startup, especially something I hope is cool as VidLibs, and that's the revenue model. So we're going to forego the big fancy graphs. We're going to just talk about what we know, and that's the 2 main versions. We got the free version, and we're going to have the paid version. In the free version, it's not just free because we're not going to make any money that way. So we have in-app purchases, and they can buy packs of themed stories. So the app comes preloaded with a set of stories, and then once the user gets through those and they're like, wow, I really love this, we say, that's great, because here's some more packs, theme packs of more stories you can buy for $1.99. Now, and they're not just random stories, we have them themified. So all the way from education, we're going to teach kids how to do better with their words and their vocabulary, all the way to the crazy bachelorette party themes that can get pretty wild, I bet. So I want to show you, let's go on to the next slide. We're going to show you our final. Market validation. We did some good market validation, and here's the proof.
Did you know that crabs eat
Poop.
and it makes their
Testicles.
grow really
Tingly.
Unexpected every time. VidLibs.
Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any licensing issues that you ran across with Mad Libs? And I mean, how would all that really work from a license?
Kind of like a brand becomes more than what it is, like Coke. Pepsi's a Coke, Mountain Dew's a Coke. Mad Libs started way back when, and it's not something that's like patented. It's just a concept, so we can play with it. And VidLibs, it would be the better mousetrap anyway.
So with a lot of apps, longevity is the question. So how do you keep yourself relevant past 6 months when the novelty wears off?
We pay attention to the trendsetters. Every time there's a new Gangnam Style or Harlem Shake, we're going to be right there keeping it fresh and keeping it hot. We got to always come up with new content. We're going to be in the content providing game a little bit and coming up with these new theme packs. So every time there's some new phenomenon, a new cool thing, we're going to be right there with new cool theme packs for people to buy. And we hope we really get some dedicated fans who are really going to love it.
So are you going to do an app primarily?
Say it one more time.
How are you launching the app?
Okay, we're going to launch the app in the App Store. We're going to have a website. We're going to do social media. We're going to have the Twitter accounts, and we're going to have a lot of paid stuff. So we want to do paid posts on Facebook, paid posts on Twitter. We really want to get that viral ball rolling. And this has a huge viral element to it. It's all about sharing with your friends. So instead of me making a video and I post it to Facebook, 6 of my friends make a video and 6 of my friends post it to Facebook. And they invite other friends, and it's really got this virality built in.
Is it going to be free?
There's a free version that has in-app purchases, and there's also a premium version, which I'm sorry I forgot to mention this, but the best feature of our premium version, this is our $2.99 version, is that the user can create their own narratives. So instead of just buying the theme pack, they can have a more personalized experience where they create the narrative storyline for their friends to engage with.
So yeah, somebody mentioned something earlier about staying relevant. This does seem a bit niche, like it would stick around, be excited. People would get excited about it for a short amount of time, and it seemed like it would fade off over time, to be honest with you. Have you thought about ways of evolving it, or have you?
Absolutely, absolutely. So there's a core concept here, and that's getting people interacting with video and collaborating on a single piece. So we talked to Lee, one of our advisors, as mentor, mentioned that it would be great, and I really agree, to go to Hollywood with it and say, hey, we're going to open up our API. And so all of a sudden, instead of the theme pack just being some random story, it's Batman going, hey, what are we doing today? And then your shot comes in, and then it's another movie character saying something. It's almost like you're interacting. So you can create storylines based on branded content, and we can have companies come in with their branded content and really spice things up. And they're doing that a lot now. They're finding out that instead of just throwing out an ad, if they create some content and some excitement, it's a lot better for their bottom line.
You know, as a follow-on to that, have you thought about this as being as a means of production for commercials, using unscripted characters?
It seems like if I'm a big company and I got the budget to do it, a contest through VidLibs to generate the most funny, content I can create with my brand would be really exciting.
Anything else?
Yeah?
Thank you.
VidLibs, thank you guys.
And now we have Impulsive.
All right, what's up, guys? My name's Lucas Deem, and I haven't slept in 2 days, and I'm still super pumped. This is why. It's called Impulsive. It is a mobile application that allows you to get together with your friends on the fly. It's about spontaneous planning, guys. Right here, we've got some market research. We went out and got about 50 respondents, and we found that when people get together for things like going to get some beers, get some pizza, going shopping with friends, they're using texting and they're using group text. So there's some problems that we found. In group texting, as you can see, it can get very confusing. Everyone's talking about everyone's mama. We don't know what's going on. It's irrelevant, and it can be unorganized. So we've created a solution. The problem was in the structure, so we changed the structure. Impulsive, right in the middle. We're the mediator. It's simple, clean, and effective. A user can pull up our application, put in the event details, boom, send it out, you're hanging out with your friends, you're going out that night. You're not confused about when, where, and why. So, how are we making money? We've got users that are doing things actively. They're looking for something to do, they're doing it with people, they're going to be spending money. They're going to be buying pizza, buying clothes, whatever. What a better time, there's not a better time to be advertising, but we don't want to be in the way. So we've seamlessly integrated these advertisements into our application. We're using a recurring subscription model with the businesses. The users, of course, will always be able to get the application for free. Businesses, on the other hand, will pay $100 a month for 10 hours of advertising airtime. They basically are going to be integrated into the front screen of our application. You're going to see, oh, Jack's going to get pizza. Look, I can get $5 pitchers at Mexican place. That's the idea of the airtime. What is the advantage of this? Well, it's spontaneous, instantaneous advertising. A bar's empty, we can fill it up. And users are actively looking for something to do. How are we going to enter the market? Well, we're all college students. Our team is composed of college students. And we come from Conway, which is a town of 3 colleges. So we're going to spread it like wildfire among our friends. We're going to give local businesses who we've already been talking to, they've already been on board with our idea, and we're going to see how it works in Conway. We're going to take that information, take that feedback, and we're going to respond to it, and we're going to take over the world. That's the plan. Here's my friend Luke Irvin. He's our developer. He's going to tell you some more details.
All right. The home screen is the screen for all events. This is where you're going to be paying most attention. Now, this is everything from an event you've created to an event you've been invited to, as well as the business events. We're using core location so we can find your location and you can see what businesses are around you. And this is great because you can go and VIP a business if there's one that you love going to keep up with what are they doing. I may want to go to that event and check it out. Now, if you slide over, we provide a few options. We believe groups are very, very important. This is going to tie in later with closed events, which I'll explain. So event creation is very simple. Type in, what are you doing? Start and end time. 2 options for locations. You can type it in manually, or you can use Foursquare's API and choose a location. Now, if the event's closed, only the people I send it to are getting it. But if it's open, I send one to Arlton, he sends one to Jeff, so forth and so on. Now, if you don't have the app, what's going to happen? You'll get a text message. This is really going to start pushing people towards the app. They're going to see beer night, Arlton and 3 of your friends are going, download the app to check it out. Now, when you actually view an event, you're going to get a little bit more detailed information. A map view, the specific information. If you haven't joined it, join it, and you can also share it to social media. Our website is live. You can check it out. All of our team has the app on a phone. If you want to check it out, come find us. If you want to be a beta tester, come find me. Thanks, guys.
How is this competing with what's already out there for events? So Facebook events, tell us your differentiators.
Okay, well, we've looked at all of our competitors. We've done extensive research, and we found Facebook events are extremely irrelevant. You don't check them. You're getting Facebook events for going to see some band in a week. We're talking about urgency. We're talking about right now. I've got 2 hours free time. I want to go get a pizza. Who's down? So that's Facebook. Do you want me to tackle the other ones? I can keep going.
So can you explain to me again how the hell you're going to make money?
Okay, the revenue model. So like I said, it's free for users. You can download it for free. On the business end, there will be the opportunity for businesses to buy a subscription-based package with time. Like say they buy a 10-hour block. They can choose when they want to use that time throughout that month. So say they choose to use their hour block for a happy hour. They put it out. It's shown in the front screen of the application where all the other events are going on. It's integrated with the events you've been invited to. And you can see that. You can say, oh man, look at that. There's pizza and beer going on. Click that, autofills event details. You push it out to your friends. They push it to their friends. We fill up the bar.
Add on to that real quick, we can also provide revenue model through geofencing. So if a business can pay a little bit more in geofencing area, so if I'm already in downtown, Kings just blast, they're doing a new happy hour, and I can get a push right away.
How do you guys keep this from being just one more thing to keep up with and the myriad of things you're being inundated with on a daily basis?
Right. What differentiates us is the sense of urgency. So you get a million things pushed to your phone a day, but whenever Impulsive sends you a push notification, you know that someone personally wants to hang out with you right then. It's all about urgency. We're trying to create, our brand is giving you the idea of just, it's now. Someone wants to hang out with you, it's personal.
Do you think you'll have an issue getting companies to pay for advertising without a well-developed subscription base, a base of users?
Right. So like we said with our market entry plan, we're going to go ahead and use Conway as a test base, and we're giving those businesses the opportunity to use it for free. We're going to see what happens. But we've looked at our competition, right? So we've seen, say, Qbot's kind of doing a similar idea with the way they're doing it is around $100 a month for their advertising time, and then they have $900 setup fee, which we completely waived because we have a website that's seamlessly lets businesses go in and just create their own profile. We have training videos to make sure that you format everything correctly. Does that answer your question? Okay.
So how many users do you have right now?
We have 5. But he can
So
what is
like, if you want to be a beta user, come find me. And if you want to see the app more, we've got it on our iPhones. Like, we'll put it on your phone.
What is the plan for building the user base then?
Okay, so for building the user base, between the 5 or 6 of us, we have thousands of friends. I have 2,000 Facebook friends, not trying to brag or anything. But, you know, Matt's part of a fraternity. I used to run a club. Like, we have connections. I grew up in Conway. We could get thousands of users within a month. I mean, it would not be a problem. It's going to be on foot mainly for the first part of it. To scale it, what we have integrated is a texting feature. So I don't know if you've seen this before, but like say GroupMe does this. If you don't have our application and I choose to send you a notification to join an event through my contact list, it'll send you a text that says, hey, Lucas wants to go get pizza with you at 6. Would you like to see more details and respond to this event and maybe invite your friends? Click here, download our app, viral.
Up next, we have Trevor of 10 Box.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Trevor Collins. I am the CEO of 10 Box. We changed our name from 10 Lunch Counter just recently. Over the course of 54 hours, our company has developed the solution to think outside of the regular lunchbox, but to provide options to students throughout the world. And it all pretty much started with a little joke of Tiny Tim. Most people have seen Tiny Tim. For many years, children in public school systems have been served the traditional one standard meal option. Not everyone wants to eat fish sticks. As a little boy, I remember people being allergic to peanut butter, other people having different difficulties eating the same thing as other people because they weren't used to that certain format. And so why not inform the school and the people who make the food so that it will not go to waste? And so we needed an app that allows parents and especially students to inform the schools on what their choice is. We needed an app that allows parents to not only prepay for lunch, but pay at their own rate. A lot of parents at the beginning of the year can't afford to pay for lunch continuously throughout a week-by-week basis. And so we have looked at the market of public school systems in the United States of America. That's where we're trying to range to. A lot of students, as you can see, are on a free lunch plan so that the government subsidizes the schools for students to receive lunch. Their parents are not paying for lunch. Although there's nearly 12 million parents that are paying for lunch, if not in full price or reduced. So why not take that huge number of 13,000 students who are paying or eating lunch and creating a system that the schools can manage via whether it's the cafeteria or the office. Something that the USDA is incorporating is something called My Plate. Our app for 10 Box allows students to choose what's on their plate. The USDA wants students to have a variety of whether it's grain, vegetables, fruit, dairy, protein. And so it's important that the students have all that's on that plate and that they get to choose what is received. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. Accessibility. Schools, especially the one I went to, eSTEM, is using things like Edline. And so right now, eSTEM shows their menu on here, and then students can click right over there and see the menu. Eastham is also using My School Bucks. My School Bucks allows parents to pay for their food. Although, we have created the Tin Box, where students can log in to here, if the internet works. And then, not only can they log in, they can view the breakfast schedule, lunch schedule, My Choice, Mega Choice, see announcements, and parents can pay for their lunches. Okay. The way we plan on receiving money is through the school districts. Each school will be charged an annual cost of $2,500. The way our competitor is monetizing their company is so that they charge the parents. Parents already pay for lunch. They don't need to pay for lunch. And we also have a mobile app that we created. And it is time for people to realize that it's your food, your choice, and it's time that Tiny Tim can choose what he wants in his lunchbox.
Well, simple service, please come set up.
Good job. So people can customize what's on their plate. So isn't this creating a lot of work on the school's budget? They have to have people to arrange all these customized meals. How's that going to work?
Well, for the user interface that we have kind of designed on the back work is that the staff will be able to upload the lunch menu for the month. And with that lunch menu, they'll have two options. And so the students can choose between option 1 or option 2. And so it kind of sets a standard way. So if someone didn't want fish sticks, they could choose chicken. And then it would include this, so they still get the 5 things of the dairy, protein.
I'd also like to say good job. So how do you plan to get schools to adopt this?
Well, schools currently already have adopted a new way for students and parents to view their grades called EdLearn. And so they're already using a system that is online that they're having to view constantly, most likely day to day, to make sure that they're getting a good grade. So why not view day to day what you're going to be eating?
But how are you going to get it out there?
We're going to go to like districts for conferences and try to promote this just like they do at the literacy events downtown in Little Rock that I've been to. It's just trying to maybe even go into USDA, the Federal Bureau of Services that's downtown, and kind of promoting this within the legislation so that they can see that, hey, if we create a promotion for My Plate so that students can choose things and food won't go to waste, because that's a big problem now, is that a lot of students are throwing away food, and that can go towards other resources or other people.
So I don't understand how the execution works. So I get online, I order something for my kid for lunch. It's different than the standard. How does that happen at the lunch line?
Well, each student will have a card so that whenever they go up to the counter, they can present their ID. Well, a lot of students are using this in a lot of schools, the way they can identify each student. And so it'll pull up on their system, which schools do pay for food services systems so that they can keep track of the payment method, but not necessarily choices for the students. Does that kind of clear it up better?
What do you think your biggest challenges are going to be in getting it rolled out?
I think the biggest challenge of this would be kind of setting a standard for lunches, and that students don't necessarily have to go by what's on the menu for this month. They can also choose something else.
Did you talk to any schools at all when developing this?
I talked to several students that go to Eastham right downtown, and they East End is a prime example because it's a public charter school. They are not very traditional in the sense of they don't have a cafeteria. And so as of right now, they don't have a way to necessarily keep track of who's wanting what. And so if they did have like a pre-planned service for the lunch menu, then that would allow the cafeteria to know, hey, X amount of students this day, 56 students want chicken, or 64 students want biscuits and gravy.
All right, we're out of time. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Simple Service.
Good afternoon. My name is David, and this is Sharish. We are students at Hendricks College, and we are Simple Service.
When I went to high school in Hot Springs, we were required to do 75 hours of public service every year. I did my public service by going to an elementary school and mentoring kids in how to do science fair projects. However, I had to overcome several administrative hurdles. For example, every time I wanted to go to one of these elementary schools, I had to get a 5-page form from my school and go to the volunteer coordinator at the elementary school, get it authorized and verified that I was there serving, and then go back to my school and get that processed. It took 2 weeks to process this every single time, and during those 2 weeks, I could have been doing much more meaningful public service.
When I was a high school student in Houston, I had a passion for teaching reading to ESL students. When I applied to colleges, I wanted to tell the story of how I had done my service, but I didn't have a log of all the hours that I had done. Not to mention, anybody else that was applying to colleges could have just lied and said that they did the same amount of service because there was no way to verify what we had actually done.
Simple Service tracks meaningful data to tell stories about public service.
So the way this works, and we have a working version of the website, which you're going to see kind of going around back there. And to explain this, we're going to wind back the clock, and we're going to have Shrish and pretend that Shrish is a junior in high school, and he needs his 75 hours of public service. So Shrish is going to be able to go to simpleservice.co, and he's going to look up all the 501c3 nonprofits in his area and choose one that lines up with his passion. So let's say he wants to work with a science fair. So he's going to go to the science fair and complete his 3 hours of public service. So here's where our competitive advantage comes through. There's going to be a dual verification that he did the service. One, he's going to go onto our website and said, I did 3 hours of public service with this nonprofit, and he's going to say, was this a positive or negative experience? Then the nonprofit's going to get a notification. It's going to say, did Sharish? It'll have a nice picture of him so that they can remember him. And they'll say, was Sharish positive or negative at your nonprofit? So you're having both parties saying that the person came. So we know for sure, and this is from secured email addresses. And they're also able to say whether it was positive or negative, holding both parties accountable. So now this information gets logged with Shrish's school. They say you've had 3 hours towards your 75 hours of public service. And also it's going to his public service portfolio, which is a public place that people can see the service that Shrish has done.
So Simple Service gives my hours meaning, it keeps me and the nonprofit accountable, and it leaves no paperwork for my school. But David, where's the money?
All right. So we're doing a public good. We get that. We're doing good for the world, but this is also a viable business. So the way we are going to make money is by charging $1,200 to schools that have less than 1,000 students doing volunteer work, and $2,500 to schools that have between 1,000 and 5,000 students doing volunteer work. So the reason that schools are going to want to pay for this is because they are going to have no paperwork in dealing with their service outreach, and the student is going to be building public service portfolios for all of their students, a tremendous value to their students. So I think they're really going to want to work with this system. So when we're going to start launching this product, in our first 3 months, we're going to be going after Arkansas. We're going to want to engage with Arkansas students. There are 486 high school students in Arkansas, and so there's about 500 schools that we're going to be going after in Arkansas. We want to have 200 signed up by the end of 3 months.
And during this period, David and I will be hustling hard. We'll be going to volunteer coordinators for different schools around the state. We'll be setting up student ambassadors, and we'll be helped indirectly through our marketing and branding department, who will publicize and go do social media things for us.
At the end of 6 months, we're going after the 60,000 high schools, middle schools, and colleges in America, and we want 500 by the end of 6 months.
And that's over $60,000 in profits per month. And at this point, we've proven our product, and we can go into the corporate market and show these corporations, help them understand their corporate social opportunities.
So you've seen what we've done. Our website is live. Now I want you guys to imagine. I want you to imagine what it would be like for a high school senior who has 600 hours of community service. A college looks at that and says, I believe that that service is legit. It doesn't exist now. I want you to imagine a nonprofit and a volunteer connecting because they both know they create good service from our dual verification. I want you to imagine a school telling the story of their public service through meaningful data that we are creating.
That's the power of simple service. Thank you.
Questions?
Sure, I'll start. That was fantastic. That was really
Thank you.
very well done. Reaching out to schools, how do you do that? That's a lot of ground to cover when you start calling on schools.
So me and Sharish are both students at Hendrix, and we are all about going out there and calling those schools and getting them in. You know, in those first 3 months, we want to perfect our product. We have no illusions that this is going to be perfect right when we start, so we want to go and connect with their service. The person, a lot of schools have a volunteer coordinator. They get paid a stipend between $2,000 and $5,000 to do this job, and we want to talk to that person and be like, can we make this easier? They hate that stack of paper. Chad on our team, that was his job at a high school, and that's kind of where our idea came from. They hate that stack of paper. We think that this is something they'll pay for.
What's it take to get them to spend $1,200, and how long do you think the sales cycle will be?
So it depends on the school. So we're selling, by sales cycle, I assume you mean yearly subscriptions?
How long does it take from the time you make initial contact to the point that they agree to a contract?
It really depends on the size of the school and funds. A Hendrix College, I think the sales cycle is less than a week. For a small school like an eSTEM, it could be a month.
Have you got a pattern match? Have you seen something else sell in that amount of time?
No, not for this. We looked for other applications that did the same exact thing, and all the market right now is volunteers linking to nonprofits. We are trying to bring in the third tier, which is the education centers, the schools, the industry, so that you can, it's a different model, and so what we're planning on doing is just focusing on Arkansas right now and kind of flesh all that stuff out, because we don't know, honestly, how long that will take. And so we'll build our staffing model accordingly and our sales staff accordingly. There's enough meat on the bone to deal with that.
So do you do the outreach to the nonprofits, or the schools are listing their nonprofits? How do the nonprofits get in the loop?
Well, it's a little bit of both. So we allow schools to certify nonprofits that they want students to be volunteering in. At the same time, nonprofits can also go in themselves if they hear about it. Volunteers can also suggest nonprofits that they would like to volunteer out to the schools to add them as certified volunteers. And that's where our biggest competitive advantage is of this verification system, so that schools know who their kids are volunteering for.
Is there a recognized fraud problem in people lying about their volunteer hours? Is it an actual pain point for these universities?
I don't know if that it's going to be hard to track people doing that, but I think it's that our society has come to recognize public service as an important thing. And so colleges are saying, how many public service hours do you have? The thing is, I think most of us know that if you have a high school student who wants to get into a college, there's an incentive there, and so people are less trusting of that. Creating this as a nationally recognized brand, that when you say, I have 700 simple service hours, not just service hours, that means something now. We're injecting meaning with data.
Is it just red, green, positive, negative? Is that the rating, the nature of the rating?
Yeah, so that's where we went with, we think star systems everything becomes 3.5. So we think that it's very easy to say, Sharish came to my nonprofit and he came to the food bank, knocked all the cans over, left without, I don't want that kid coming back. And what's more important with that is then that's going back to his school. And they're saying, Sharish, why'd you knock all the cans over? So that's a very nice way to hold everybody accountable.
Yeah, I've got one final question. Have you guys got the team that can carry this off, or are there pieces of the team that are missing?
Absolutely, 100%.
Up next, we have Branches.
You ready to roll? All right, so my name is Ryan, and I'm working with a group called Branches, a mobile app. So I want to start off with introducing you guys to my children. I'm kind of into them. This is Lucy, Olive, and Max right here. So I'll talk more about Olive today a little bit. So the middle child's getting little props for a change. So Olive is a fun person to hang around with, right? So here was Olive 4 years ago. This is like planet Earth. She just arrived like literally moments ago. And I took this picture of Olive laying there in the hospital. Now, Olive has changed in the last 4 years. Okay, so this is Olive now. Okay, so this is the Olive that we know and love today. Okay, so now in 4 years' time, we went from that little bitty thing on the hospital bed there to this person sticking their finger in the nose in public, right? And now I'm showing you all. So what happens, I think, for parents is this is kind of where Branches comes into play. So Branches is an app that lets parents track their children's lives in a safe and private way. So what happens is this, sort of the problem becomes this kind of idea that there's kind of four, I think, problems for parents that this app solves. Number one is kind of lost memory regret. So like, I can't believe that Olive was that little baby. I forgot what she looked like then. So this app can do that. There's no single repository. So I've got Twitter and Facebook and iPhoto, and there's pictures of my kids everywhere, but one place to do all these things. And then the two big ones here are oversharing with friends. So the idea is like, I don't want to blow up your social feeds constantly with my children, which I do all the time. So that's annoying for all you guys. Other thing, too, kind of connected to that is kind of growing privacy concerns. So we know that people are really kind of nervous more and more about what they're putting out there about their children and what their privacy is. So that's kind of what we're addressing with this app. So kind of core features, like what are we trying to do? What are you going to be able to do with this app? So it's maybe some distinguishing things here. So, social login, social import, you can share things out socially. So a very familiar experience. So if you're connected with Twitter, Facebook, those kind of things, you can have sort of a congruent experience. You can add branches. So my children are my branches. So I would add 3 branches onto my feed. Moments, milestones, and memories are kind of the key crux of the thing. So moments are real-time feeds. So what's happening right now, I can text, photo, video, audio, whatever. Milestones are things like first steps, first day of kindergarten, graduation eventually, first to UI if you have those kind of kids, whatever. So, and then finally memories. So relive what you've forgotten. How can you sort of remember what happened a year ago today? And then finally the idea of inviting people to view your feed. So I want to invite in Grandma and Grandpa, but I don't want to invite in Arlton. All right, I want you creeping on my kids, right? But Grandma and Grandpa do care about what my kids are doing in life. I'm not saying that. I mean, Arlton would never creep on, yeah. So a quick kind of demo here to kind of walk you guys through the app a little bit. So the app launches, you have a quick little simple social login that you can kind of work through. Tap to that, and you go into a simple setup process. So, and what you're going to see here, obviously, really clean, simple, kind of compelling UX, UI, really a nice experience for the user. So you kind of keep working through the app here. You can add branches, you can kind of move through. Here's your kind of main feed. You can swipe through that very familiar social experience. But I wanted to see just Lucy. So I can go to Lucy's feed. So here's her, same kind of idea. You kind of scroll through, you see updates, that kind of thing. But now I want to do a new post. So I can tap the new post down there. It swipes up. I can do text, photo, video, audio. I want to do photo, let's say. So I tap photo and go to that. So a very familiar social experience, but yet still a private place to do that. So that's kind of a demo for the app. Market research. So what we decided to do is look at some target demographics. Who are we really targeting here? So we think young, on-the-go, affluent parents, maybe kind of that expectant parent to 6-year-olds, kind of the really heart, the sweet spot of who we're after. So 48 million families have children under 17, so a big base. And almost half of iPhone owners are actually parents. So a lot of people that we want to kind of target there. We did a little survey this weekend. We kind of targeted really high-influence parents in the Central Arkansas area and reached out to them, got some feedback. Most of them said they'd pay $1.99 or more for this service. So there was like, okay, a lot of non-free people. We like that. And then almost 3/4 said we have serious privacy concerns about what we share out there. So there's a need for this kind of thing. And then finally, monetization. The idea is like instead of just pay once for the app to download, we'll give it to you for free, and then you pay us every year. So we have a recurring model here. So if I don't want to share with anybody, 99 cents, and boom, I'm good, no invitations. But if I want to share with Grandma and Grandpa, whoever, $2.99 gets you a year. And so next year that's going to renew. So an ongoing revenue stream. And finally, private data real super quick. We kind of crunched some numbers. If we had 100,000 users for one single year, it would cost us 24% of total revenue. And these are kind of, hopefully decent kind of numbers, what we've crunched, hosting, those kind of API calls. And then so that'd be 76% profit per customer. So we feel pretty decent about that. Differentiators, here's kind of a big hero headline on our website right now. So a compelling way to do this. We have competitors. There's people doing these kind of features, and they all suck. the really bad experiences. We want to create something compelling, a UX, UI that makes you want to use the app. So finally, go to getbranches.com. The site's live. Go there, sign up in our email, get branches. Thanks.
So what happens when Lucy turns 7? She's out of that demographic. What happens to the information when they're not as cute anymore and they're away from home?
You don't get cut off. I mean, I think the beauty is your kids never get old to you. So we think the sweet kind of core spot of the demographic is that sort of young, I'm like Lucy's growing up now. Maybe it's not as fun, but whatever. But it is this idea of like, for the next 18 years, I could go to the adults if I was a weird parent. Like, I could keep this thing going. So we're not ditching you out or whatever. We just think our sort of core target is those sort of young parents with young children. As long as they want to, yeah. So it can, and we'll send push notifications how your, subscription's going to, Your wife, yeah, I don't want a wife, like, it's my memories, my moments, so she can be a part of that. She could log on my thing if she wanted to. I don't want her messing with my own thing, but she has her own app. It's sort of her experience with the children. Yeah.
So who are some of your competitors and how do you differentiate yourself from them? And
Yeah.
also, is there going to be a web component to this?
There will be a web component a little bit. I mean, the idea if I share out on Twitter, there'll be a link and you'll go to you'll see the interface there or whatever. But the web's mostly going to be marketing push. Competitors, there are 2 or 3 that are, doing pretty decent. I don't know, should I name them? Yeah. There's one called Tweakaboo, and there's one called Memory Jar. Yeah, they have just really non-compelling UIs. They have the feature set is fine, but it's not a good experience. And I think, to me, it's this idea of sort of Tweetbot. There's 100 Twitter apps, but Tweetbot created a beautiful experience. It makes you want to use that, whereas Twitter has a free app, but Tweetbot charges $1.99, and you feel good about that because you like the experience, and it makes you keep wanting to return. So, yeah.
How sure are you that this won't be kind of yet another example of just one more thing to keep up with? And for a cynical person like me, why couldn't I just use a private group on Facebook with my family members to do the same thing?
You could do that. You could create a private Twitter account that it's a separate one that you dedicate, but I think the idea is that you're sort of shoehorning something into this thing that wasn't meant to do that. And so I think that we're sort of offering the idea of a convenience store. Like, hey, we've already set up this kind of easy option for you here that maybe the bread costs 50 cents more, but we've already got it laid out for you can run in, run out kind of thing. So, and I think the one more thing idea is I think the compelling kind of difference is that strip away, Facebook is annoying. In fact, the #1 response we got in our survey is the #1 privacy concern, of course, is Facebook. People don't want to fiddle with that. They don't trust Facebook. And so I think the idea is like this private sort of place to do this that sets it apart. And it can be the hub for everything else. You can share it out to Twitter and Facebook from that. So that could be your first stop, really.
All right, a B2C model involves going out and getting a lot of consumers to sign up for this, right? So short of writing Stoneward a great big check to reach a whole bunch of consumers, how are you going to do that? How are you going to reach people?
I think there's some pretty good organic, compelling ways to do that. And I think you start really hyper-local. So for instance, I think, like, let's take Little Rock, Central Arkansas. I think you target really high social influencers and you say, hey, this could be compelling, a parent influencer, I should say, so I need you to use this. Can you use this? Can you talk about it? Can you blog about it? Can you network with this? Can you tweet out links when you post things? And I think you can sort of start organically and sort of hyper-local focus that kind of spreads and then target, maybe you go to Northwest Arkansas, maybe you go to the Dallas metro area, and, Memphis area, what have you. And I think we can sort of target those, use social to push a very familiar social type of experience.
That people will stop using after the fact. So I think you should think about, okay, what's going to happen the next step? Can Lucy take that information and she start adding the information? Think about what's going to happen after the parent stops using it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, I think there's ways to expand and grow. I think we have sort of a base that you can sort of add layers on for sure. And you can pull in people, pretty easily. So, yeah.
Good job, guys.
All right, hey guys, my name is Keenan Abner, and I'm one of the founders of Pursuit. I'm gonna tell you a quick story real quick. All right, so a couple months ago, I was watching the presidential inauguration. I was sitting there on my couch, really doing nothing. And this phrase came up that really struck me. They talked about how Americans, we have the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And it hit me. I was like, that's exactly what I need. I want a better life. I want the freedom to do what I want to do, but I have to go out and do it. I have to go grab it. I have to pursue it. And so this is where we came up with Pursuit, which is the epic bucket list app. Basically, our app is a platform where you can go online, or go on your phone, sorry, and create a bucket list. And this isn't just your normal bucket list of, you know, I want to go to New Zealand someday, I want to learn how to play guitar. This is a bucket list that really helps you achieve the goals that you set for yourself. So if you say, I want to go to New Zealand someday, the bucket list will populate even more sub-lists for you. So it says, you need to go buy a coat. You need to go learn how to rock climb. You need to go book your flight. And so that's also how we're going to make money, is that we're going to partner with affiliates so that when you say, I need to go buy a coat, here, Patagonia says, we'll give you 10% off. We want to help you make your dream possible. We want you to achieve the big goals on your bucket list. So that's basically the way we're going to make money. And here's a basic, our home screen. So obviously, climbing a 10,000-foot mountain is pretty daunting, but I think I could do it. So with the help of my friends, and this is where the social aspect comes in. We have a thing down there with the K, it's called kudos. So whenever your friend does something, whether it's their big task or their little task that leads up to their big bucket list idea, you give them kudos. You say, good job, good for you, awesome, I'm right behind you, I'm rooting for you. Even leave a comment saying, hey, you're doing great, keep it going. I want to be a part of this with you maybe. Maybe I have some hiking boots that you could borrow sometime. So it's an extremely social app. It gets people together. It also has a feature called Carpe Diem, seize the day. It's about local discovery, and this is what separates us from other bucket list type apps. The Carpe Diem feature basically populates a list of local things going on right now that people are doing in your area. So you have your big bucket list goals, the things you want to do, but you also have some stuff to get you off your butt and going out there and doing things. And so basically this is our setup. We'll have a news feed that populates with you and your friends. Win Startup Weekend, that's a subtask that I would like to accomplish. I don't know about the other teams, but so yeah, basically this is the app as we have it right now. It's called Pursuit because really it's all about the journey, all the things you're trying to do, and so that's where it came from. We have an actual working model. Our developers here, I just really want to say thank you to them. They had never even programmed an Android app before, and they did it this weekend for the first time. Give them a round of applause real quick. It's working. We actually have it sent out to Amazon Web Server hosts. It's actually talking to the web. It's not just fake. It's real. It's out there. It's working, which is really awesome. I'm so proud of them. And basically, that is our app in a nutshell. And thank you.
Where are you going to get the deals, like that Patagonia deal? How are you going to source that for the app?
Okay. Firstly, starting off, obviously, we don't have the connections with Patagonia. We don't have those with Travelocity for trips. We don't have those kind of things. So at least to start off, our model is to show them in there. They have affiliate programs where if we send traffic to their sites, that gives us a little bit of money from the transaction that takes place once the users actually go and make the transaction to go do that thing, whether it's buy a coat, whether it's take a plane.
Another aspect of just monetization for it is not just the affiliates where if you want a coat, I can sell you a coat, you want to go, I can get you a plane, is we are also going to have banners in the newsfeed where you can push products in between the news feed as well. And then there's also sponsorships. So on the Carpe Diem, which is the Seize the Day, it has a Google map, shows you where you are, what's going around you. So your mom and pop store, there's a Carpe Diem over there where you have to eat Bubba John's hot spicy cupcake, and that's one of your, that's something that's your local thing. It's kind of funny, it's gonna make it funny. You can laugh, it's okay. So if I want to go do that, I can have a competition between like Bubba John and Mama J's, and they can kind of bid on, hey, I want to be higher up on the list. So there's 3 different elements right there of monetization. Just push that there.
Who's the relevant competition? How have they done? And how are you going to continue to differentiate yourself?
I'm just going to start it off. So the only relevant competition that I can see right now is Everest. And right now I see Goose Egg. They're not making any money. So.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
Their monetization strategy isn't as broad. Basically, they have a few affiliates to challenge people to do things, but it's very small scale, little things, and that's the only way they're making money so far that we can see, as opposed to our 3 different options to monetize. Also, a thing about Everest is it's not really user intuitive. It doesn't really make sense all the time, and it doesn't really pull in the full social aspect of getting your friends behind you, of getting that next little oomph you need to go out and do the things you want to do.
So what are the 3 ways you're going to monetize this?
So you have sponsorships for the Carpe Diem section of the app. The Carpe Diem, so you'll have local stores, local whatever it is, like the movie theaters, whatever they're going to push for their something on their bucket list, they'll be able to bid on being higher up in the Carpe Diem search. So you'll have a Google Maps view up top, and you'll also have a list section. So higher up, the more you pay, the higher up you're going to be in that list, and the more I can push people to you. Another thing is we're also trying to have that, we have that share option with LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and we're not trying to be the new LinkedIn, new Facebook, but I have talked to LinkedIn before where you can actually install this as a widget onto your profile. So as an entrepreneurial aspect of this, I could have a dream of I want to start a company, I want to win a startup weekend. People can see that on my LinkedIn profile and be like, hey, do you need a CTO? I want to be a part of this. I want to start a company too. So there's a lot of bringing it together, and I think the Carpe Diem thing is what kind of keeps it fresh and not sit in your pocket for the year because you want to go to Everest, and that takes a long time, if you know.
Also, the Carpe Diem, it might be a little confusing, but what that is you have your bucket list. You have items you want to do in short term, long term, like climb Everest. You have the steps that will break down pre-populated list of how to achieve those bigger goals. But there will be some people that want to go, hey, what can I do this weekend around this area? You know, and they're looking for other things to do, and it might go to Bosco's and get some Little Rock beer or something like that, and that's where the Carpe Diem comes in, and that's where we could get advertisers as well saying, you need to come by and check this out.
So is the app breaking down the steps to success, or is the user inputting those steps?
Great question. Early on, when we first start out, it's got to be user-based because we will populate as many lists and as many steps as we possibly can think of, but there's some things that we're just not going to think of. I've never climbed Everest before, so I don't know exactly what goes into it. So we will have an option at any point in time for a user to add a step, but a really cool social component is that if you want to go climb Everest or you want to go to New Zealand, you can go look at other people who have actually done the whole thing, and once you see it, you can click on theirs and be like, oh, this was their list, this is what they did to get there, I'm going to move that over to my bucket list so that I can follow the same steps they did to get to the eventual goal.
Cool. So you could sponsor peak experiences. That could be, you could sponsor. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Up next, we have Fundraise the Roof.
All right, so all kinds of wonderful things come out of schools. Cute little kids, self-sacrificing teachers, all that good stuff. There's other things that come out of schools. One of those things is fundraising. Everybody hates fundraising. It is long and tedious. It takes time. The kids lose their money. The parents get annoyed. There are so many steps to fundraising that it just seems like it takes forever, and it drives everybody crazy, and it's a never-ending process. And then the most miraculous thing happened. Let's erase the roof, see that? The world created computers and technology, and it has made a world and our lives more efficient. And so we have created, we don't have to worry about that mess anymore. We have created Fundraise the Roof. Now, Fundraise the Roof is the solution for the do-it-yourself fundraising. Now, before I go further, I'm going to define the do-it-yourself fundraising is like the small stuff, the bake sales, the Pizza Fridays, the raffle tickets, golf ball drops, stuff like that, the cumbersome forms of fundraising that is cash-based and creates problems within the school, within the parents and kids and stuff like that. So what our solution is Fundraise the Roof. We actually have the most amazing team and the most amazing developers. We've actually completed the website from scratch. And it is a fundraising, I'm going to say this right, a fundraising management web application and software that in particular has integrated digital payments. So instead of kids carrying cash, you can pay for the small stuff through our online and web application and the mobile application as well. Now, before we got started with this whole thing, we did a ton of research. We had an amazing teammates that did all the research about our competitors and stuff like that, and we discovered that the DIY, the do-it-yourself fundraising, is a entirely neglected niche, that there's lots of other competitors that are taking care of like the third-party things, and there's digital ways to pay for school lunches, that sort of thing, but there's nobody out there facilitating the DIY fundraising. We also did a lot of market research because we wanted market validation. We wanted to make sure that this made sense to the schools and to the parents. So we had parents on our teams. We went out and talked to the community. There was a group of people out here yesterday morning. We went out and talked to the parents out there. We did a survey on SurveyMonkey. We heard lots of responses on that. We also talked to a school board member as well as a principal to make sure that this made sense to them. So we kind of covered all our bases and made sure that this is something that they actually thought this was a good idea. One of the direct quotes from a mom was, she said, I pay for lunches through a lunch vendor, but I have to write checks for all the other fundraisers. It would be nice to be able to do this with just a few clicks. That's what one of the moms said back to us. Based on all those surveys and research and potential and all the personal interviews, we realized that there's an amazing opportunity here. That the DIY fundraising, because it's been a neglected market, is an amazing opportunity. Like I said, I had an amazing team. They were extremely motivated because a lot of them were drawn to this. We had a huge team. It was 9 people. And they love the altruistic form of this because not only were we starting a business, we're helping schools raise funds as well. And so they did a lot of research, and they did a lot of number crunching, and they boiled it down. And even using very conservative numbers, we realized our business can become profitable within the first 6 months. So let me show you how it all works. This is our minimum viable product. Like I said, our developers were amazing. They actually created this whole website, fully functional. It is a clean, fully responsive website. It has a landing page, a campaign entry, an exit, and edit and checkout pages. So you can go out there, you can enter the campaign that you're running, and then parents can go out there and pay for the products. We particularly focus on keeping the functionality clean and easy to use and manage so that school fundraising can become very efficient and extremely effective. It increases participation by the parents, and it reduces all kinds of the pain points, or like the kids losing money and that sort of thing. We all know schools need more money, and our whole team is very passionate about being part of that solution.
How do you guys make money again? I missed that part of it.
We decided to have a barrier of entry for the schools because obviously the schools need money, so we didn't want to charge for that up front. So we would have a percentage of the money they raised would be for our costs and that sort of thing. So even the numbers we were running, it was, I think, well, yeah. Hold on a second.
We're going to charge 18% of all collected funds, so no barrier entry, easier to get on board. And then the more successful they are, the more money that we make.
Did you say 8 or 18?
18.
Yeah, well, we came up with that number because they can do it cash-based and it doesn't cost them anything. And then there's booster clubs that'll do all the fundraising for you, but they actually charge 50%. So we remove the pain points, but we're not holding their hands. So we kind of came somewhere in the middle in our service and in our charge.
Is that on top of credit card transaction fees?
No, that's everything included. And that's why we had to be 18%. If you take 2.9% and 30 cents a transaction, for example, with Stripe, what ends up happening is if they start doing $5 and $10 transaction, that actually increases that. And then so Dawala is also an option to where it becomes, less expensive.
That still seems like a lot of money, man.
Well, you have programs like Kickstarter and things like that that take over 20%. And so with this, it's no risk. And one of the other things going to happen is with the easier method of actually being able to raise funds, the goal is that they're going to raise more funds. And that's the objective here. It's not just giving them an easier way to do it. It's also increasing the amount of funds that they raise.
Well, I think the difficult part is whenever you're introducing, talking to them about this, they're going to see that 18%. They're not going to see what the solution. They say, we could have 100% of our funds, or we could have, what is it, 70, 78%.
82. Yeah, so
whatever,
basically.
Whatever, somewhere around there, guys.
Sure.
Shut up. I wasn't
Sure. So basically, when you're doing the pitch, when we're talking to the schools, basically what it comes down to initially is you can keep 100% of 10,000, or you can keep 82% of 20,000, and so we have to help them increase those funds. And if we don't, then we don't make money. So it's in everybody's best interest for them to raise more funds.
The exciting part is that after the school year, they can go back and say, okay, our pizza fund worked really well, but we didn't make that much money on the Gatorade fund, or whatever. So they can their fundraising can become more efficient year after year, and we can also spread that and compare it to other schools and that sort of thing, so we can recommend that sort of thing.
So how do the schools find out? I mean, how do you market to the schools?
We talked about that, and we have, like I said, an amazing, I'll go ahead. I'll let you know.
Hello, everyone. So we have our core group has a lot of relationships with the Department of Education, the school districts, North Little Rock and Little Rock. And we have a business-to-business strategy. We have a business-to-consumer strategy using the PTA, parents as our, champions. And hey, we like this concept. It takes a lot of the red tape out. So we're hoping that they'll call the schools and say, hey, have you guys heard about this? And the superintendent says, oh yeah, we know about that. And they'll run the door down.
One of the ways we know we're going to try and get in first is through the PTAs, because they don't have the red tape the schools have. They don't have the long decision process, that sort of thing. And they do most of the fundraising. So we have actually connections in PTAs and schools. We have connections through principals. Because we have such an amazing team, we've actually had connections through a lot of the schools here in Little Rock already.
Are you managing fulfillment of product too, or is
No,
that
that's
being?
all. That's why we're not charging the 50%. They are able to go on our website, fill that out. All the kids, like my daughter would. I get emails saying that they're raising money, and do I want to buy my daughter a piece of pizza for $3? So I click yes. The pizza is paid for. The people buying the pizza know how many pizzas to buy, so there's not as much waste, that sort of thing. So all we are facilitating the fundraising in a digital way, so there's no more kids carrying cash, and it increases participation because the efficiency is there, and because I can click a button, pay for the pizza. I don't have to worry about whether I have cash, whether my daughter gets it to her teacher, whether the teacher gets it to the front desk, whether my daughter is on the list. All that stuff gets lost, and it is so aggravating for everybody involved. Our teachers work hard enough; they don't need to keep count of who brought cash and that sort of thing.
And I think that's one of the things about the 18% is that it eliminates a lot of the administrative overhead on the do-yourself fundraising that the schools do today. Is that there's teachers and homeroom moms have to fill all this information out, keep track of the cash that comes in from the kids. If a kid forgets his cash, then they've got to go put something to the office got to send it home. So it eliminates a lot of that overhead and administrative overhead that our teachers have today, and our homeroom moms have today, and that's where that 18% number comes from. Yeah, it's 18%, but if they have to give up 18% and they free up their teachers and their homeroom moms to do more educating for the kids and more productive things in the classrooms for the kids, and all of that eliminates that, that's probably an 18% they're willing to pay.
They also know to buy 15 pieces instead of 18 pieces. Whatever.
We looked at the different, like I said, the pain points between how, say, a PTA charges 50%, what we would have to cover for transaction costs from a credit card,
and so we try to land somewhere in the middle. So
if in the future we want to have a direct sales force actually out there, there's got to be enough profit made, and there's going to be certain schools that raise less money as opposed to others. So there's got to be enough profit in there to be able to sustain a sales force to continue to grow. And so we think that it's sellable there. Yeah, it's not going to be handed over because they can come on without any kind of initial fee or commitment or anything like that. But at the same time, if it does take off, we have the funds to continue to grow it into high sales reps and to expand because of the profit of the 18%.
why would you ever push this through a direct sales force rather than partnering an affiliate program with the PTAs?
The PTA is the first route that we're going, and that's the way that we want to do it. If we ever want to do any sales or
Doesn't it?
advertising
Yeah.
or marketing, the money is there to do it.
That's definitely a second choice. First choice would be reaching out to our contact.
And 18% basically, based on some estimates that we did, it comes out to around $5,400 profit per school per year. And that is based on a very low estimate about what schools raise on do-it-yourself fundraisers through the course of the year. All right, we're out of time.
Up next, we have Brandvu, and this is our last one.
Can you hear me? Hello again. My name is Gabrielle.
Just.
Thank you.
All right, let's start over.
Take 3. Okay. Okay. I, like many of you, I'm sure, have had to face the difficult decision of having to choose between two companies that essentially offer the same type and quality of service for basically the same price. A great example of this is auto insurance. Who do you choose, Progressive or Geico? It's basically the same thing. Whenever my friends and family give me recommendations and it's basically a 50-50 split, the decision ultimately comes down to me. Who would I rather do business with? All things being equal, or evil, as in the case of a cable provider, I would rather do business with someone who shares the same values that I do, someone who supports the same causes that I do, is a good neighbor, someone that I can trust. Figuring this out, though, is not as simple as it sounds. I mean, I'd have to sift through hundreds of online press releases and maybe scour a corporate annual report. It's tedious, it's time-consuming, and it's confusing. Consumers want to support businesses that share their same values, and research indicates that this is true. When given a choice, when given a choice between two companies that essentially offer the same type and quality of service, consumers will ultimately choose the business that they perceive to be good corporate citizens. And our surveys, our research that we conducted this weekend, echo that sentiment. Of approximately 100 respondents that we surveyed this weekend, 97% indicated that they would be interested in having a product or service that would easily give them information about a company's corporate social responsibility initiatives, and that information would absolutely inform their buying habits or change their business or their buying decision. So that's the problem. The solution is Brandvu. Brandvu is a platform that allows consumers to connect with brands based on their values. We do this in 2 ways. We allow, our Brandvu provides personalized search results that are based on a user's individual social values profile, and we assign a specific social value or social good score to the brand that basically indicates very clearly, it's a visual representation of how compatible that brand is with the user. So basically, we're eHarmony for brands. Okay. Our market is it's very broad. However, it's basically consists of our users and our businesses. The users are basically anyone who cares about where their hard-earned dollars ultimately wind up going to support. And of course, the businesses and charities that want to connect with our users. Our business model is primarily based on e-commerce for affiliate marketing to the brands that want to access our users, and also the charities that want to receive or are able to receive donations through our portal. We've also, in our surveys, we're able to determine that users would be interested in paying for an application between 99 cents to up to $4.99 for an application that would give them this tool easily accessible in their hands so that they can make these buying decisions in a retail environment. The major revenue stream would be long-term, would be in licensing data that we'd be able to collect specific data on users' preferences for specific brands based on their social initiatives. Oh, okay. Our personalized What makes us unique is our what makes us unique is our personalized value matching and the social good score. You can go through a lot of search, there are a lot of search options out there. You can go to Google, you can go to Bing, but there isn't one place where you can go that you can return search results that can tell you how much you can trust a brand. And the social good score is basically like a cloud score for brands, but it's more important than that. It's something that a brand can be proud of and essentially becomes a viable public relations tool. And our marketing plan would be to start initially with one vertical, and to continue, as we aggregate additional data, we will be adding additional commercial verticals and or product and service verticals to allow for more flexibility with the product. And I think, and this is I guess, the beginnings of what our platform would look like, and that's really it, I guess. This is a great team, which actually I want to indicate that what makes us also specifically positioned well for this is that we have an extensive amount of experience in data aggregation, which would be critical to this project. So, next steps. Oh, am I done? I'm done. Any water? So, what question?
Sure. I'll start. So how are you going to make money doing this? What's the revenue model?
The revenue model, e-commerce or affiliate marketing through basically by working with the brands and who would be wanting to reach our service. So if you go to our profile, if you're a user and you return a search result, you can make a choice of who you would like to purchase service through, and you can click through from our website to that specific user or to that specific company and make a purchase right then.
So it's e-commerce based company.
Well, it's e-commerce based initially and potentially application sales. However, ultimately the long-term revenue model is built on licensing the data, because the data that we're able to collect is very, very specific on preferences that users have for specific brands based on what they're doing and what good they're doing in the community.
Can I answer?
Yes.
Also with that, companies are very much interested in their image right now. And if we get this together and get good, solid data together, I don't think we're going to have any problem getting some funding from the companies themselves.
What else?
How are you going to get your first customer?
Well, our initial marketing initiatives would be actually very guerrilla in tactic. We would be able to leverage a lot of, basically social media initiatives, Facebook, Twitter, the usual suspects, viral videos that we would create for YouTube to be able to spread the word and kind of show how users are connecting with brands and kind of sharing the brand love through BrandVo. Also, we would be able to, also our registration, Facebook integration would allow users to invite other friends to join the service or to join the platform. There was something else. Oh, obviously SEO, which is not to be overlooked, and those are probably the main initiatives.
So where are you getting the model for social good? I mean, wouldn't that require a huge amount of research and, to even start that up?
That is an excellent question. So when a user signs up to the service, they basically, they fill out a profile, and in that profile, they will indicate all of the causes and, I guess, issues that are important to them. So that information is captured for that specific user. So when BrandVo pulls back the data on a specific brand, our algorithm will match the user, their values, with the values that are indicated by the data that we've retrieved, and provide them a score. Did I answer your question? Because the score is personalized to me.
This isn't an easy problem, and we're not kidding ourselves. There's a lot of data here. It's a difficult problem to solve. It's going to take some iterations of engineering. We have a very dedicated team. We're very passionate. We're meeting Thursday to start banging out the actual workable model with static data. So,
our ultimate goal is to empower consumer choice. Right. We want consumers to be able to have access to information, easy access to information that makes sense to them so that they can be informed and make wise decisions about where their money ultimately gets spent.
It seems to me that there could be a trust issue with that. Just why should I trust you? with what you put, give me back when I do a search or something like that.
Right. So we will be aggregating data in multiple touch points. So the data that we will be pulling will be primarily from trusted sources that are either to the company's website, the public relations, that press releases that are documented, true form. They would be from SEC-related documentations like their tax information, or appropriate tax forms, what have you. So there's not the data that is being retrieved will be accurate and basically trustworthy, because it's not influenced initially by a lot of social chatter that may or may not align with my personal values as a consumer. Does that make?
Will I see that data as a user? Will I see that information, or are you?
Well, we are going to do some graphing and some clustering and show you how we came up with these solutions. We can do that. I mean, we're going to have to do that to come up with the score. So, I think we're going to look at that as a team and say, does this look like public data? It probably does. It's probably public data that we want you to see.
Are there high integrity thought leaders in the space of social good that you would approach to get an endorsement?
I'm sure that there are, and absolutely we would not be working in a silo.
I don't know anybody like that, but if you find some, you should get them to endorse what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Well, I think it's nice if we have the charities and the brand, because that's going to weigh, I think,
Absolutely.
together.
And
We're
we
going to go to both the entities.
in partnering with those charities.
We're out of time.
Good pitch, guys. All right, you guys enjoy that? Good. Good. So it takes a lot of guts to get up and pitch, so round of applause to everybody who presented today. Yeah.